A Shah floated towards the podium, ready to make her case to the Grand Sheila Council. Today's order of business was a rather historic one, to decide on what aspect the humans represented among the Eternal Order. For thousands of years, the Sheila had been the dominant political and cultural force in the galaxy. While that still remained true, the humans of Earth had certainly made an immense impact on galactic nature, despite only recently joining the Galactic Union 12 years ago. But as the dominant entity in the galaxy, the Sheila's assignment of an aspect of the universe was a highly significant event for the entire galactic community, especially in this case. According to their long-held beliefs, the Eternal Order proclaimed that each species in the galaxy embodied a single aspect of the universe, all of which contributed to the natural order of life, the universe, and everything. The Sheila themselves represented the embodiment of order. The Undara represented the embodiment of artistic creativity. The Haruka represented the embodiment of perseverance, and so on. Previously, the Graku had represented the embodiment of war, at least until the humans entered the galactic scene. For the first time in history, a species appeared to embody multiple aspects. However, the humans' performance in the Centurial Galactic Military Conference had recently called into question if the Graku should be replaced as the embodiment of war. Such a possibility was not taken lightly among the Sheila, nor had it happened except twice in their entire history. Not only did the human military outperform every other race in tactical combat and strategic exercises, the Graku has suggested an insane exercise scenario that put every single other race in the galaxy against the humans all at once. Even more insane, the humans won. Soundly. But Ashar had a different idea. While she certainly acknowledged the humans' prowess in warfare, their skills and virtues appeared far too inconsistent to simply be the embodiment of war. Ashar reached the podium and put down her notes. As the ambassador to Earth, her opinion would be among those that carried the most weight. Ashar could barely contain her anxiety, as the humans called it, while she spoke. Honorable Council, I come before you today as the Sheila ambassador to Earth, having served in this position for the past 10 cycles. I have observed the humans, their behaviors, their values, their cultures, and I have come to the conclusion. Ashar looked around the gargantuan council chamber, gazing at the numerous ambassadors, Congress electives, spiritual leaders, and the 5 high counselors. All their gazes were affixed to her in anticipation. That the humans of Earth, Sol System, Orion Arm, Galactic Quadrant 2 are not the embodiment of war. The entire chamber erupted into a cacophony of noise. Ashar had expected this. Until this point, the general consensus had been that humanity would indeed replace the Graku as the embodiment of war. Despite the weight of her words, Ashar suspected her testimony was only requested as a formality, since the council seemed to have already reached an unofficial consensus. Above her, the High Councillors silently looked at each other, before the Supreme Councillor banged his gavel with a thunderous crack, a sign for the chamber to be quiet. As expected for the embodiment of order, one strike was all that was required to quell the discord. The Supreme Chancellor spoke. That is a highly contentious conclusion, Ambassador Ashar. If the humans do not represent war, then what aspect do they represent? Ashar nervously replied, Your Excellency, again, drawing on my experience with the humans, they are too unpredictable to be represented by a single known aspect of the universe. But if each species can only be represented by one aspect, then I believe the humans represent the opposite of our own race's virtue. They are not the embodiment of war. They are the embodiment of chaos. The chamber once again resounded with furious dissension, requiring 2 strikes of the Supreme Councillor's gavel to silence them, nearly unheard of for the orderly Sheila. Ashar continued. Based on my experience, chaos explains how and why the humans appear to embody multiple aspects, as well as outperforming other species in their own aspects. Each human is unique, with their own values, beliefs, skills, thought processes, humor, and even stores of luck. Although such circumstances may appear to be Contradictory and detrimental to a civilization's development, chaos is not their weakness, it is their strength. Rather than serenade this council with a deluge of words, I have provided multiple visual references for brevity. Ashar picked up a cylindrical remote and tapped the side. Multiple large holoscreens appeared, showing an extensive database of videos, each one a testament to the apparent insanity of humanity. Ashar pointed the remote to one video, bringing it to the forefront. In it, a wind cyclone, a tornado as it was called on Earth, violently rips through an area before the camera pans to the side, showing a human standing on his porch, casually sipping a drink despite the destruction surrounding him. The next video depicted a group of human students, having constructed a working Olympian-class mech out of scrap metal and junk parts. Unarmed, unarmoured, and certainly useless in combat, but functional nonetheless. The subsequent video showed a human volcanologist alongside a lava flow, extracting lava samples and pouring them on the adjacent ground into the shape of a heart. A gesture of love and affection among humans. Ashar spoke. These are merely the most recent records of proof. If the council will note the timestamps, the most recent video is dated to a mere day before this very assembly. As the council members whispered amongst themselves, Ashar continued. And this is not a recent phenomenon. The oldest visual records are dated to the humans' 20th and 21st century, long before their admittance to the Galactic Union. It took Ashar several seconds to scroll to the bottom of her list, pulling up videos from humanity's early days with visual web connectivity. In the first, a human wielded two high-capacity ballistic rifles, normally meant to be mounted weapons in each hand while firing both. Another showed two human soldiers in an apparently toxic environment, considering their protective suits, yet casually dancing. The next showed a group of humans at an intoxicant dispensary, singing in unison from the memory of a lost friend. The fourth was a compilation of humans being injured in bizarre ways, yet every featured human apparently survived. The one after showed a group of humans turning a garbage disposal container into an explosive cannon. The subsequent video showed a human perusing a store while casually carrying a dangerous, armoured aquatic predator. Finally, the last video featured a human documenting his somehow successful endeavour to cook a meal by slapping it. Ashar dismissed the videos and addressed the council. Even these are only early instances of human behaviour recorded by the public. Their collective history provides even further anecdotes of insanity. Humans once declared war against a species of bird, and lost. At multiple points in their history, human nations attempted to outlaw liquid intoxicants, only to give up after humans found ways to obtain them anyway. Thousands of years ago, primitive humans built massive stone structures that still stand today. One of humanity's most devastating wars suddenly halted for a single day because the soldiers refused to fight on a religious holiday. For 500 years, humanity attempted to reach their planet's northern pole, refusing to give up until they finally reached it. As the Honourable Council can see, the chaotic nature of the humans does not deter them, regardless of the situation facing them. One or more humans somewhere will possess enough genius, daring, insanity, or even all three to find a solution. It is in chaos that they find a strange sense of order and clarity, apparent only to them. This is how the humans triumphed in the most recent military conference. It is not simply their skill in warfare, but their very nature that allows them to find solutions that otherwise seem impossible. To be absolutely clear, I am not implicating the humans as evil, hostile, or a threat to the Union. I am proposing for the Council's consideration that the humans are merely the opposite aspect of the Sheila. Where our civilization has thrived in order, theirs have thrived through chaos. Therefore, it is only logical that the humans represent the embodiment of chaos, for chaos is what draws out their true creativity, bravery, humour, and compassion. The chamber remained silent. As Ashar looked around the chamber, she noticed many council members glancing towards each other. The Supreme Councillor broke the silence. The argument has been made, and this High Council accepts the Ambassador's proposal. In light of this newfound proposal and the proof reinforcing it, voting will now begin. Those in favour of declaring humanity as the embodiment of war, input your vote now. Despite their previous majority, only a handful of platforms illuminated their vote. The Supreme Councillor spoke again. And those in favor of humanity as the embodiment of chaos, input your vote now. Suddenly, the entire chamber glowed bright with the overwhelming majority. The Supreme Councillor struck his gavel. So shall it be. It is the decision of this council that humanity's aspect of the universe and contribution to the eternal order is chaos. Henceforth, the Graku shall remain the embodiment of war, and humanity will be known as the embodiment of chaos. Relevant personnel will begin preparations for new treaties and negotiations with humanity based on this aspect. This session is adjourned. Asha breathed a sigh of relief. Her name would surely be written in the Sheila historical records for this, but a new concern had become apparent. It was now the galaxy's best interest to remain in the good graces of humanity, not out of fear of their skill in warfare, but out of mutual interest. As long as humanity was their ally, the Galactic Union would have an unbreakable, omni-adaptable, and infinitely tenacious force, ready for whatever the universe threw at them.